Nigeria's best anti-corruption fight happened under Buhari, Professor Sagay. How can this man lie like this? How can you tell us that the best corruption fight happened under Buhari with the likes of the then Attorney General Federation, Malami, with that boy called Tunde that was the PA to Buhari himself? How can you say that? With all that happened within Gumi and Sheikh Gumi and the bandits in the north, how can you say that? With all that happened in the southeast between the governors and the people they use for local security fight, how can you say that with the kind of election that was conducted under Buhari to bring Tinubu in? This guy must be something else. Probably it's an APC person, I don't know. But let's dive into the details. Professor Itse Sagay, former chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee against Corruption under former President Muhammadu Buhari, in his interview with Chiwike Chukwu, speaks on the fight against corruption under Buhari and the 2023 general elections, the judiciary, as well as Tinubu's mistakes leading to sufferings being experienced by Nigerians, among other issues. No wonder. So he was the chairman of Presidential Advisory Committee on Corruption. No wonder he is trying to defend the office he occupied. I can understand now. So a former chairman of Presidential Advisory Committee against Corruption under former President Muhammadu Buhari, to what extent did the regime fight corruption, given that the last administration is regarded as one of the most corrupt? Okay, that's the question they posed to him. And this is his reply. He said, I am happy you said so many believed, because the belief that Buhari's administration was full of corruption is not true. I say this because under the Buhari's administration, Nigeria witnessed the greatest and most successful fight against corruption in the history of this country. Hey, see how old men they lie. I know for certain that under Buhari's government, convictions for corruption rose from less than 300 to well over 3,000 under his command. And not only that, in the fight against corruption, we added a feature that had never been added before in the fight against graft. We introduced the concept of non-conviction asset recovery, because we found that when you have to prove that the person is guilty of corruption or of looting, and you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt, and you have already senior advocates who are paid from the proceeds of crime and invested in protecting the crime, it will be challenging. So we adopted a different method in order to succeed in major part of the struggle, and that is by bringing an action to recover the money or property they have looted, rather than bringing criminal action against them. And when you bring criminal action against the money, when you bring action against the money they looted or the property, then proof is not beyond reasonable doubt. So the proof is much lower. Now all you have to do is to gather all the property, seize them, control them, and ask anybody who claims to own them to come to court within 14 days and prove how they acquired them. That was something newly introduced by the Buhari administration, and under it, well over ₦1 trillion assets were recovered, including what Diziani is struggling to get back now. Did you know Diziani has so many houses, so many expensive watches, jewelries and all that? It was through the same action we took under the same Buhari's government that led to the discovery of all those things. So we seized them and asked her to come and prove how she got the money to buy them. And she has not been able to do that. So those who keep on saying that corruption increased under the Buhari administration or government are saying so for the fun of it. They are not serious. And I see that they are saying that out of animosity. They are irresponsible and are talking nonsense for the pleasure of it, without actually knowing how corruption was fought then. So the Buhari government achieved a lot in the fight against corruption. It introduced so many new things like anti-money laundering, cybercrime, and a whole lot of that, all aimed at stopping crime. So the government also introduced, although I don't know whether they completed it before he left, a new law where assets like houses, which spring up all over the place, will be listed, and then you have to come and prove in court that you are the owner of those houses. That is under EFCC, what of ICPC. For the first time in the history of this country, constituency projects by the lawmakers were traced, and ICPC discovered that a few thousands of them where money was collected and nothing was done, or where money was collected and it was used to buy things which were kept in private houses. Also, ICPC was the one that went in forcing the contractors to go back to complete their projects or their jobs in various constituencies. They were also the ones who discovered well over 300 houses which were bought by civil servants in Abuja, and they were all seized. So the list is endless. Apart from that, we also trained the prosecutors of EFCC on how to prosecute so that they don't have too many charges. This is because they have to take a few charges and efficiently prosecute them to success instead of having a long list which they cannot tackle. We taught them and wrote quite a number of books on how to prosecute successfully. So we did a lot, and Buhari achieved a lot in fighting corruption. There is no question about that. What? Wow, this man don't lie full ground. Itse Sagay, I'm sure he's defending his office. That is it. He's just defending his office. There's nothing exactly that was done under Buhari about corruption. Rather, corruption grew up stronger. That is it. Somebody is already reacting to that statement. Somebody said, this man is a hypocrite. I used to respect him, but he has started talking nonsense. Another person said, Professor Emeritus Sagay, you are among the few legal luminaries I respect in this country. The rest are late CJN Bola Ajibola, late CJN Mohamed Bello, late CJN Richard Akinjibe, and late Chief Gadifayemi. Yeah, these are legal luminaries of blessed memories. May their gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Somebody's praising Itse Sagay now because they have chopped. That is the truth. As I said, the man you respected is not in the league of Gadifayemi and co. Gani will never work with a hypocrite Buhari. Okay? Sagay is a hypocrite. Corruption under the government he worked for was the worst in the history of Nigeria. And that is true. Somebody said this man was mentioned in the P and ID case. Okay, that is the paid and means something case. At some point, I think he is going senile. Yes, sir, Professor, you are right, and that is why we found the recover fund being looted by your party members. Abi, that was how we found that the money that you recovered was looted again by your party members, and you couldn't do anything about it. And you were serving under a party that said, no matter how big your sins are, once you come, your sins are forgiven. Well done. Life to Nigerians. Oh, wow. So how can you say that Nigerians actually saw what happened under Buhari's government, and this man is coming here to tell us? Somebody says he is most useless hypocrite for he used the DSS to attack the Supreme Court judges because they did not give favorable judgment to APC. An old bootlicker pretending to be progressive is not. Lies from the pit of hell. But this government is the most corrupt in the history of mankind. Sagay, that's why you are a thief. Abi? They're giving it back to him because actually everything he said here, they are not true, and it's been debunked. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment.